I would have lost my shit about this announcement, which I was very pumped for. I was hoping would happen. Whilst not an official part of Gamescom, PlayStation did something to reveal during Opening Night Live their rumored DualSense Edge Pro Controller. So touted as the first ever high-performance, ultra-customizable controller developed by Sony Interactive Entertainment. We do not know a release date yet or a price, but you would imagine that would be next calendar year at the earliest and probably the latest. The features will include 2 back buttons, which have got 2 replaceable types. You can remap and deactivate any button mappings, customize stick sensitivity in dead zones, and trigger travel distance. You can save up to 5 controller profiles using the function button on the controller to instantly swap profiles. Changeable stick caps, there's 3 types. Massive replaceable stick modules with different types sold separately. A braided USB-C cable comes with a case with USB-C charging and retains all other standard DualSense features. Sony, I gotta zoom in on this one. Chef's kiss. This is like, honestly, I literally would not change one single thing. Like I hear people like, why aren't there like 4 back buttons or back paddles? I don't have an Elite controller. I've had controllers that have 1 or 2 buttons at the back. I never ever find myself using 2. Like I would only ever use 1, and I feel like my brain is just not at a stage where I can, press all 4 buttons at the back. So I'm totally comfortable with them just having the 2 at the back. I know you have an Elite controller. What is your sort of perspective on that one?
Yeah, the only time I find having 2 on each side useful is if I'm playing a game where I'm wandering around a lot, and I'm like, okay, if I'm navigating this open world a lot, and I just want to like rest one of my hands, then it's useful to have 2 in the back there, so you can have one as an action button, one as a cancel button, whatever. But you don't need them. I think just having a back button on each side is good enough, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
And I was a big proponent and fan of the DualShock 4 back button attachment. I love that thing. I bought a couple of them actually. And yeah, there was a bit of a shame that they came so late in the cycle. And they're obviously a bit of a test run for Sony in terms of like, what's the feedback from people? How do they feel about these things? I'd love, they probably got data on it as well. But yeah, man, like some of the things that this addresses, and I typically was like, oh, I kind of want the Elite controller because I'd like to just have an Xbox controller at my house. But it's so expensive. And then the thing about it that made me super nervous was the stick drift. That like people still get stick drift with the Elite controller, which I don't know, man. Like surely they're going to be using the best controller, like levers, analog stick levers, and they're still having problems. It's kind of like, that's bullshit, to be honest. It's like 250 Australian dollars from memory, right? But the fact that you can actually take the whole stick module out of this and just replace it, like, and if that works how people think, that's like insane, dude. Like, I will buy the extra like modules just to save at the side, because they won't, like, it's not like they will expire or something like that. And it would just be like peace of mind for me, man, because it's like that shit would drive me crazy, like if it starts to drift, because I haven't actually had many drift problems outside of my Switch. Like I've had a pretty good run, but I know that you have.
Yeah, my PS5 controller started drifting within.
That's insane.
Oh god, like within
20 hours or something.
It was a very small amount of time. Let's just put it that way. So the fact that you can seems like you can replace the whole stick module is a huge thing. I don't know if that influenced their decision around this, because this stuff is obviously designed a lot of time in advance. But I think this is really cool. I just hope that one of the other issues, and I haven't spoken about this on the show, one of the issues I have with the standard PS5 controller is that the battery life just absolutely fucking sucks.
It sucks, man.
Oh, so bad. So they haven't mentioned anything about whether or not that is going to be different.
I don't reckon.
It's such a shame, because it's like it basically lasts like a quarter of the time that my Xbox controllers do.
Oh, so your Xbox controller lasts a lot longer. Okay, because I don't have an Xbox, right? So the Switch lasts like double or triple the PlayStation.
what I've realized is that part of that's also the controller doesn't go to sleep on maybe the settings I haven't done. It doesn't go to sleep as quickly as the Xbox One. So maybe that's part of it where I'll put it down, walk away, and I'll almost expect it to kind of just go to sleep, and I'll come back in half an hour. So there's part of that's just maybe you're just checking if there's settings I don't know about with that. But
Yeah.
But look, this is awesome. I think it was a great little thing to announce as part of Gamescom, considering Gamescom that PlayStation weren't there. So and the way that the Jeff Keighley, who we didn't mention, Jeff Keighley was presenting the opening night live. Like it was almost like he had a bit of a grin when he was talking about this. It was pretty funny. So.
Well, it's a pretty I think when you talk about like hardcore gamers, this is a big deal, right? Like, and you've never had an official OEM first party advanced controller, and people have been waiting for this, been pleading since the Elite controller. And when did the Elite controller come out? It's like 2-3 years ago or more, is it? Because I know there's Series 2 of the Elite controller.
Feels like more than 3 years.
Really?
It's original, but I'm not sure on that one. So I just want to just say that I forget his name. I'm trying to look it up. The guy who actually leaked this original rumored kind of report around this. A bit vindicated on that, because I think like some people like, oh well, this guy, who is this guy and stuff. So he was on the money. They had one in the works. So,
I believed in that guy after the fact. Oh wait, no, that's not the Elite controller. Sorry, I was just like in the background trying to look at when the Elite controller came out, and it said 2014 at the start. Oh no, it was actually 2015. Holy shit! So yeah, people have been waiting for this for a long time, dude. That's like 7 years since the Xbox Elite controller was sort of announced and released. Jesus. I always thought that guy was right. What, do you have the name of the guy?
Yeah, Tom Henderson.
Yeah, Tom Henderson.
Yeah.
It was more the publication that I was like, oh, that's a pretty dodgy publication. But then, like, listening to other journalists talk about it, they're like, oh no, that guy's always on the money. Like, that guy is a good journalist. That publication's pretty unknown. But, that's why you get people like that to come across, I guess. But yeah, he was bang on the money. It's not shocking, not shocking at all, but very welcome. Like, having said all of this, like, DualSense is not my favorite controller. I think it's way too heavy and way too big. It's like, to me, the DualShock 4 is like perfect. Like I don't know if you've picked up a DualShock 3, PlayStation 3. It's so light, dude. It's crazy. You pick it up, it feels like a toy because it's so freaking light. But the DualShock 4 is just like nice weight to it, nice heft, like not too big. I got smaller hands as well, so like it's good for me. But the DualSense is just like, it's a bit too chunky. Like I can literally feel like it's heavier, and the battery is so shit on it. And I think it's that friggin' DualSense vibration shit, that the tactile vibration, that it's just a bit like, just wears it out so quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little it feels just a little chunky on the sides a bit, and the fact that with the stick placement for me, like it took me a long time to get used to
you're an offset stick, yeah.
I think like the first game I really kind of put that to test with was the first Uncharted game, and I think there's a third-person shooter where you're constantly having to use both sticks. So but look, this is cool. We be interested to see what this is priced at. It's not going to be cheap, that's for sure. So
it'll be like $250, right? Like how much is the Elite controller still?
It's in that realm.
It's freaking expensive, but like I guess one way that I do look at it is that given that you can replace the sticks, to me, like I know I'm banging on about that part of it, but if it works the way that we think it does, which is that whole module can be taken out, it pretty much not eliminates stick drift, but if you suffer from it, you have a resolution, you can just replace that module. That to me is going to be worth it, because you could end up buying like a controller and then not, I don't know, like it's sometimes difficult to get the warranties back in Australia, even though it shouldn't be.
Which the Switch had replaceable sticks.
Well, I mean, like that's like, it's a good example, right? If you go send your Switch in Australia to get it repaired, like the drift, you have to pay for it. Like, and I don't think that, I honestly think if they got challenged about that, they wouldn't win that case. Yeah, I just checked. It was $250 Australian for the Elite. It's got to be the same price. I'd be shocked if they charged a lot more. Hopefully it's less, but
I think we'll in the wrap up later. We'll probably talk about the the PlayStation prices, but
the trends are not good.
I could see them getting away with pricing it a little bit higher than what they do with the Xbox. Just it's
Really?
PlayStation. I could no, I don't think they will. I think they could get away with it because it's PlayStation.
You know how I am a man of value. I can afford it, but it's not about affording things. There's a value component in my head. I gotta say, if I've somehow, because you guys have bought these bloody Elite controllers, I've got it around my head that $250 is okay to spend, which it's not, but it's okay to spend. But I have to say, if it's $300 for a freaking controller, I don't know if I can do it.
I could see Sony being sneaky and it's like $270 or something.
God,
it's just just a bit more.
Yeah, I'm having this visceral reaction because like my heart's saying you're right, and then people are going to straight away go, it's got 2 less buttons at the back. You're getting super ripped off.
It's got 2 more profiles, so
that's true. That's true. I am looking forward to it, and something that I'm not sure how I'm feeling about.